Greetings, film freaks. We are the Podcorn Kernels. Join us as we discuss the hard and often indigestible truths that are at the center of the fluffy and delicious world of cinema. Season 2.
What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels podcast. My name is Adam, and joining me in your earholes is Harry. Say hello, Harry.
The episode now standing at platform 40 is the last episode of Season 2. If you have journeyed with us before and hit all the stops, we can only thank you for your custom. And please tell your friends about your journey. Leave a review, good or bad, we don't care. Fret not, dear friends, we will be back, unless polio returns. Be it on a limited service, or a delayed service, or right on time, you are our fuel, and our engine purrs when you pour your effort into us. Goodbye.
On today's episode, we will be talking about The Lighthouse. This is a 2019 film directed by Robert Eggers and stars Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe and Valeria Karaman. IMDb describes the synopsis as follows. Two lighthouse keepers try to maintain their sanity while living on a remote and mysterious New England island in the 1890s. Here is an original song to support the synopsis.
2 and 1 light, what could go wrong? Sickening sights and lots of frights, and this is our shanty song. The toms are together, bracing for a storm. With bad guts and stuck in ruts, these wicks are on form. It might be a curse, yet it may be true. We watch and we watch, we still don't have a clue. It might be a curse, yet it may be true. We watch and we watch, we still don't have a clue. 2 and 1 light, what could go wrong? Sickening sights and lots of frights, and this is our shanty song. The toms are together, bracing for a storm. With bad guys and stuck in ruts, 2 wicks are on form. It might be a curse, yet it may be true. We watch and we watch, we still don't have a clue. It might be a curse, yet it may be true. We watch and we watch, we still don't have a clue.
Let's start with some facts about the film. The scene where Willem Dafoe's character gives the sea curse to Robert Pattinson's character because he doesn't like his cooked lobster was shot in one single take. According to director Robert Eggers, Dafoe didn't blink for over 2 minutes.
Exceptional.
What a man. I'm a big fan of anyone who can hold their eye gaze for longer than 30 seconds, because I'm blinking all the fucking time.
Hark, Triton, hark! Below bid our father the Sea King rise from the depths full foul in his fury, black waves teeming with salt foam to smother this young mouth with pungent slime. I blinked.
Okay. I am an anxious man, and as such, blinking is my curse. I think I blink too much.
He blinks at the start as he's building it, and then as he gets it, the minute he locks eyes with Pattinson, he doesn't blink.
See, do you remember our episode on The Killer?
Yes.
And it was a fact in the fact section on that episode that Michael Fassbender, didn't blink for the whole film. Now, I watched that, and I counted numerous blinks. Yeah. I did my due diligence here, and I watched him on that scene when he was given the curse. Guess how many times he blinks?
If it's at the bookends, once.
He does not blink. This is a correct fact, checked by thyself.
But he starts his monologue with his eyes closed.
Yes.
He closes his eyes, looks up at the sky and says, "Hark, Triton."
But it's a great scene, isn't it?
Exceptional scene. And the lighting against his face. I feel tricked into watching a film from the 30s with an exceptional monologue.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It is. It's one of. There's a few standout scenes in this film, I think personally, and that is one of them. And the fact that the man's there being so intense, like it's one thing if you're just sitting still, not saying or doing anything, and not blinking, but he's putting so much emotion and ferocity into his voice and still not blinking. Yeah,
exceptional.
Love Dafoe. Robert Pattinson had an unusual approach to psych himself up before emotionally extreme scenes. Director Robert Eggers states, sometimes he'd beat himself in the face so bad. Or when it was raining through the cottage roof, Rob was drinking the rainwater in between takes. He also spun around in circles a lot. That was helpful for him. Or he'd stick his fingers down his throat to make himself gag. Stuff like that. In particular, the scene where both characters are drunk and Defoe lies on Pattinson's chest. He was sticking his fingers down his throat before the take. Willem gave me a look as if to say, if Rob fucking pukes on me, I swear to God. Now, I love that as well.
You're always into that, aren't you?
I am all. I
You're
love a
into
bit of that.
self-deprecating, self-violence.
For the art, like I differ to you a bit. I think taking it to the extreme and method acting can work in some instances. If the film's good enough, if the material's good enough, I think it works. And in a film where it is just 2 hours of just bonkers craziness, I think you can allow it to get to your most crazy self, doing mad things like punching yourself in the head and making yourself gag. It works. Like, of course, in this film, it makes sense. It's got enough ambition. It's big enough of an undertaking for it to make sense for me personally. So I love to hear it.
It's good if it put him in the right mindset. Then I'm down.
I don't know about you, but for me, this is Pattinson's best performance. I've always found some parts of the accent a little bit stodgy.
Physically, and his acting, and when I say acting, I'm talking about the way he's using his facial expressions throughout scenes. It is his best.
Yeah, commitment.
Accent-wise, vocal-wise, I'll come to that in dislike. Yeah. A little inconsistent for me.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have, rather than sticking his fingers down his throat, maybe he should have gone to a voice coach.
Yeah. But then I would argue maybe as a character who we're not really sure who he is meant to be, maybe he's not meant to know who he himself is.
Well, yeah, he does have a dark past where he's taken on the credentials of a dead man.
Yeah.
So he may be trying to match his accent to old Kennedy.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe. I think I'm reaching there though, because I do have a soft spot for this film.
I have a soft spot for this film.
Yeah.
And you're right. And did you know what? I love seeing an actor only take on bigger challenges and get better. I mean, we forget this man was Cedric Diggory in
Harry Potter.
Yeah. And, he took Valium to get that role in Harry Potter. He was so nervous and, he plays this handsome young lad. And then he did Twilight, and I bet a part of him was like, I wish I'd not done Twilight.
Yeah.
But look what he's done since Twilight. That's immense.
Exactly.
Tenet.
Yeah.
He was good in Tenet. He played, Tenet, it gave off an impression that he could potentially be Bond, but who knows?
It's exactly that. In an alternate universe, our Pats could have been that heartthrob. He could have popped up in mediocre rom-coms. He could have been young adult fantasy. He could have been all of those things, ending up in subpar television series. But he really dug down and got some really interesting parts afterwards. I even rated him in Batman. Now, I don't love that film as much as everyone else does, but I do quite like him in that. I quite liked him in that role. I mean, it's quite I say easy role, but everybody knows what fucking Batman is, how to play Batman, really.
He released an album as well, good 15 years ago. It's like
Did he?
Like an acoustic sort of Damien Rice sort of candlelit album. It was very pretentious. I wasn't a fan.
You've heard it?
Yeah, I heard it.
So is it just a solo?
This was during the times of when people were like, it's either Jacob or Edward. It was like them times. So like, if he could have laid out fecal matter, his own, and people would have gone and rated it. Yeah. And they would have been like, this beautiful, look at it. Only that could have come from Pat Pat.
I mean, I would rate Pat Pat's Poo Poo because I'm a fan of him now. But when it was Team Edward and Team, who's the other one? Howard?
If it was Howard, I would be on the floor laughing.
What is it?
Jacob, I think.
Oh, Jacob and Edward.
By Taylor Lautner.
Oh yeah, now there's the example. That's the opposite of how Pattinson could have gone.
He will get his career is bad.
Yeah,
his acting is terrible.
He was in a series with Greg Davis.
Yeah,
and I love Greg Davis.
Man Down or Bird Down or something.
Yeah, I love Greg Davis, but not as an actor. And yeah, the fact that I can't name one thing that Taylor Lautner, Edward or Jacob, whichever one he was, has been in since.
Yeah. Korean lipstick advert, I think.
Yeah. When asked to describe the movie, director-writer Robert Eggers always used the same choice of words in every single interview. Nothing good can happen when two men are trapped alone in a giant phallus. It's a great line. It's a great line. Like, I mean, what else is to be said? Like, I think that's hit the nail on the head. Now, I love to watch this film and try to decipher what it all means, and I've got my own theory, and that theory has stuck on the fourth time I've watched it. But in essence, if anyone was to question me on making a film and I have that as the go-to default answer, it's brilliant. It sums it all up.
Yes,
because nothing good can come of two men being trapped in a giant phallus.
Well, he started with mood and atmosphere, and him and his brother Max as well. Max Eggers also wrote in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, along with Blaschke, the cinematographer and stuff. They were all involved in it, and it didn't start from a script. It didn't start from. It started from mood and
vibes,
atmosphere, and he said, and then the story will come from that.
Creating a tribe from a vibe is a strong move, rather than vice versa.
Hundy, I have the same approach to music though. I can't write a song until the music's right. So if the music's right and it has the right tone and it's it's almost melancholy, it's got power, then the lyrics flow.
Yeah.
A lot of traditional songwriting is write the song out, write the music without even playing a key.
Yeah.
Then you play the music.
Well, if anyone's interested that's listening, that offers an insight into our songwriting process for our original songs. I'm purely lyric guy. And you know, we both work on the lyrics, but when it comes to the music, that's all you. And sometimes I'll come up with lyrics, and you've got a tune in mind, and the lyrics don't fit.
You have done some nursery rhymes, and you have done some wicked raps that didn't need music, and then music was added. So we do a nice mix.
We are a nice balance here, if nothing else.
Yeah,
we are good at what we do. Look at that. Little impromptu self-praise there. I wasn't even expecting that. Is that growth?
Oh, man.
What did you like about the film, please?
Willem Dafoe. The finest character actor working today. His early career wasn't even his apex. Now is his career.
Yep.
As you said, his sea curse is up there with Mama Precious abuse monologue for me.
But
it's just exceptional solo performance in this scene. It will be remembered for 100 years.
Yeah.
It will be. It's exceptional, and I love watching him. I love watching him everything. Poor Things lapped it up.
Oh,
he's just he can take on so many great characters. Yeah. I absolutely adore the man, and this is my third time watching Lighthouse, having come back to it. Now, there's a little bit of Podcorn Kernel history for you here.
Oh,
this was the first ever film that we reviewed for the podcast. But we never released it. You never heard it.
Yeah.
We didn't have the right equipment. I think we shared a mic.
Yeah.
It was ropey as hell. But this was the first film that inspired us or got us around the table to record.
Yeah.
And that was like 5 years ago. It's half a decade ago. You know, this podcast's only been live 2 years, but Lighthouse is where it started, and season 2 is where it's going to end. Lighthouse.
Yeah, scared me a little there. But no, I'll get in the Lighthouse with you on that one as well.
Come with into the phallus.
Yeah, we will go mad in this phallus together, because that's one of my likes, is the nostalgia. This has nothing to do with the film itself and completely mirrors what you said, but the Lighthouse holds an important mantle in our podcasting history. It was the first thing we ever recorded, and I have great memories of watching the film together and trying to untangle this web of madness. It is member berries, and whenever I think of this film, I have fond feels and favourable thoughts. Now, it's all that. The moment it starts, I'm sat there and I'm like, oh God, how naive. But it's so fun to remember it and look back on the journey we've come on. And I remember being so nervous at the very start before we even went live. I personally would have to have 3 or 4 beers before even pressing record.
Yeah,
I'd have tables and tables worth of notes scripted beyond belief. Like, it just would never have worked long term.
You looked like a mad person. If you could have seen him, audience, he was at the end of a table. He had 4 or 5 easels filled with A4.
Yeah.
He had his glasses on. He had 2 pens going.
Yeah.
Healing the world with comedy.
Yeah.
Doing all the calculations, and then he'd come to do his first line, stutter, and go, oh, fuck, start again.
Yeah, I was literally a autistic, anxiety-induced OCD octopus, just sitting at the end of the table trying to spin so many plates, and it was just impossible. But without the first exploration with the Lighthouse, we wouldn't be where we are now. And fun fact, there was actually a third Kernel once.
There was a third
Adds a
Kernel.
bit of mystique to the audience.
It was Harry's older half-brother, goes by the name of Jamie Squall McDuck McGarry.
Oh, fully naming them that, aka Duck Pope.
No, we love him. It's just trying to fit 3 people's lives into a podcast was nigh impossible. And that first podcast stint, it's fair to say, it never happened.
No,
we did 3 or 4, Chicago 7, I think, there's a couple of others, and then it fizzled out. COVID hit, so we couldn't continue, and we didn't, and then me and Adam ended up moving closer to each other geographically and spiritually.
Oh, yeah.
And we decided to start it up again, and there just weren't no room for a duck.
Yeah. All
because
ducked out.
He's a chef, and he never could have fit his schedule into it, and it never. And we'd be doing 8 episodes a year.
Yeah, if that. And it's exactly that. At the time, the absent Colonel was a chef, and I was a baker, so he would be working evening sort of times.
Yep.
And I'd be in the morning, so it could never have worked.
Yeah.
But look at us now.
I was a stone cold home worker, and that's why it was all made possible.
Yep.
Because I took advantage.
Look at us.
Took advantage.
Look how we have grown.
Yep.
Should we get back to the film?
Yeah.
What else did you like about The Lighthouse?
Visuals are haunting.
Yeah.
I actually think these likes are all the same likes I probably had the first time round.
Can I tell you something?
What?
Mine are exactly the same.
But I didn't have reference.
No.
I couldn't go back and look, but I think naturally it's happened again.
Yeah, I had a look on my old device of choice to see if there was any notes.
Yeah,
There was just mad notes that made no sense.
600 words.
I'm not kidding. Double it and add another double. It was just
Jesus.
madness. When I would try to script every single thing I could possibly say, it was mad. But it was the scrawlings of a madman.
You read like Sheldon Cooper when we first started this. Anyway, visuals are haunting, mystifying, and incredibly intentional, according to cinematographer Jarin Blaschke.
What a man!
And they really are. So aspect ratio 1.191. And do you know what other film shared that ratio and was a huge influence on Blaschke?
Talk to me.
Fritz Lang's M.
No wonder.
And you see it. You really see it.
You do see it.
When you see the way they light Defoe's face and he does his speeches, or it's just like, apparently when you shoot a black and white film, you need 10 times more light than you would a coloured film. So the actors would have like light spots in their eyes. They could barely see each other.
Yeah.
Whilst trying to act incredibly difficult dialogue.
Yeah.
Especially for Defoe. Defoe's dialogue, you might as well be pulling out sonnets.
Yeah.
From Shakespeare's time. It's wonderful language. I watched this time with subtitles.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to see the words, and it's very sea cursor.
Yeah.
It's very like everything's like referencing a seashell or bream.
Yeah.
Or seagulls and stuff.
Yeah, very nautical, eh?
Very nautical.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Well, wait until I get onto my dislikes because I use it again. But just to evolve on your point, it's interesting you say that it's taken influence from Fritz Lang's M, because there's many scenes in that where it's just a reaction shot and it's almost over exaggerated, like they would back in the 30s, like over exaggerate their reactions, like really over the top, looking dead
Stage
down
the
the camera.
film.
Exactly, yeah. And it bleeds through, so that is interesting. And I've got a like that sort of jumps on board your like, if you'll allow me.
You coming back into the phallus?
I'm coming back into the phallus, yeah.
Come back in?
Let me back into your phallus.
Do it.
Yeah, and it's the chemistry and cinematography. The chemistry between the two leads and the way this film looks are both exceptional. Every scene is a fascinating black and white ode to chaos, and the way Arpats and Dub Defoe bounce off of each other combine to make this a real treat.
Boom.
Cinematographer Jarin Blaschke, is that how we say it?
Yeah.
Yep,
Whatever.
Jarin Blaschke is the perfect man to create Eggers' vision, and the acting combo on display were the perfect casting choices. Now, when everything is going in the same direction, it's hard to not love a film like this. And that's quite the accolade when it is all up for interpretation. It's not a definitive, this is what the story is. Depending on who you are, depending the mood you're in, depending how much you're willing to put into it and how much you're allowing yourself to take out from it is results may vary. But for me, when the chemistry and cinematography and, like you said, the performances, when they're all going in the same direction, you've got a genuine, amazing work of art.
It's one of the very rare films that I like that isn't finite. It's like you said, it's totally up to interpretation.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the most wonderful things about this film. People can watch this in 100 years and they all have different interpretations.
Yeah.
It's open-ended in what it represents, what it stands for. Like, you can watch this film, you can see Prometheus, you can see Proteus in there, it's Greek mythology. You can see so much in the film, and there's even explanations that could be totally possible and true and not defining physics.
Yeah,
and maybe we'll get to them in this story. But yeah, Third Like, and we covered it a little bit. Atmosphere and mood being the seed.
Oh, can you just, in the most polite way possible, fuck off? Because I'm gonna ask for admission into the phallus again, because that's exactly what I've gone for as my like.
But you can come into the phallus, you can come into it. But
Ooh.
I just love that mood and atmosphere came first, and then the birth of the film idea, it inadvertently grows into a story based on the mood. Like, it's a box 1.191 screen, so it's claustrophobic from the beginning. It's black and white. It's raining constantly. I think that's wonderful. And when a film invites you in with vibe straight away, or atmosphere, kind of like There Will Be Blood, the opening of that, it's dead silent, but it's a man working his arse off trying to get down a well, it's like, and that just pulls me in.
Yeah.
Pulls me in.
It yanks on that curiosity and that intrigue. Like, even if at the end of the film you're sitting there going, well, that was a load of bollocks. The way that the atmosphere is, and like you say, the acting, all of it, the vibe, the feel of the thing, like, it holds your attention. I remember the first time I watched it with my partner, I remember it being really hyped, watched it, was really excited, started to watch it. I hadn't seen anything of Eggers' work before.
I was the first.
And this was the first one, yeah. I didn't do it in order. I watched this first, then The Witch, then The Northman. And we watched it, and once it finished, it was one of those films where we just looked at each other and neither of us had a response to what we thought. And I don't think I knew what I thought until I watched it second time round with you.
Did you laugh first time?
No.
Scenes?
No.
Yeah, see, I found that strange because I only laughed when I watched it with you.
Yeah.
But first time round, I was just like, this makes me have anxiety.
Yeah.
This makes me feel weird.
I think it was funny with me and you because we've got that sort of friendship narrative. Like, we know what it is to see each other at our best when we're drunk, and we also know what it is to see each other at our worst when we've had a drink. So there's some relatable elements into it. And I just think, watching it with you, it was a particularly hot day. I think we may have been hanging or had a few beers when we watched it, one or the other, and it was just like this film, the vibes were good that day, so we just had a great time watching it. And the fact that it was the first episode still makes me giddy, really.
Third time watch, I was laughing so much.
I watched this the other night on my own for the episode, and I was laughing a lot more because I think once you see it your first time, you're trying to figure
you're trying to take it all in.
Second time you're a little bit more climatized to it. You're like, okay, I know this is mad. Maybe this is a film to just watch and enjoy. And you watch it, and the importance isn't on as much on trying to figure it all out. It's just absorbing
experience it.
And then the third time you're remembering it or going, oh fucking hell, that's where he fucking nuts through the floorboards. That's when he gets shit in his face, and all the funny bits sort of leave more of a mark.
Well, it's more obvious as well, because when, say, the sea curse is given by Defoe, a really deep, powerful line, the camera cuts to a wide shot so you can see Pattinson still sitting down, and after that entire monologue of no blinking, Pattinson says, all right, have it your way, I like your food, essentially. So it's comical. It's this fucking funny film. I would call this a dark comedy, not a horror. I really would.
I mean, personally, I don't deem it a horror. Credit to the film, though, there are some moments, especially on the first viewing, where it is a bit like, oh, that's a bit, I'd say, creepy, eerie, like, I don't know, it builds up that atmosphere. It does leave you feeling a little uneasy, but I wouldn't say it's a flat-out horror, no. But dark comedy, I tend to agree with you there.
Have you allowed for a little segment in this episode where you're going to give what you think it's about?
I was hoping it was going to come up.
Okay, cool.
But
no, I don't. I won't say it now. It's just there's something I want to talk to you about, which I read, and it has opened a whole other way of watching the film.
Okay. Well, now you've brought it up, you may as well dive into it, because I'm intrigued.
I'll hit it. I read into this, okay? So if you want to find this article, it's in Harker magazine. Now, this blew my mind.
Wait, should I say what my theory is before?
Yes.
Because then if you say it and then I go, well, that's what I think, people might be like...
Say your theory.
This is my theory.
Yeah.
And it's pretty basic, bitch, but this is what I think it is.
Okay.
I think Pattinson is fucked. He's done this crime in the lumber yard, wherever it is.
Kennedy.
Yeah. And he's on the run. And he's got ill, he's fallen, he's hurting himself, and he's in a deep psychosis, delirium, where he's injured and fucked.
So that's Defoe's theory in the film. He goes, you're frostbitten walking in the woods.
Yeah.
You're not even here, and you're up in Kennedy in them big woods. That's terrifying.
There's a huge... The sort of narrative leads you to believe that all he's trying to do is witness the light. And in my mind, the way I perceive it, it's like, well, he wants to die. And part of him, the Defoe part of him, in a metaphysical sense, is trying to keep him alive. It's fighting to keep him alive. But all he wants to do is to go into that light. Now, light for millennia has meant seeing into the light means the last thing you see going into...
And the first.
And it symbolises death, doesn't it? It's going into light, don't go into light, go into light, that's when you die. So for me, Defoe's trying to stop him from doing that. And then at the end, when he finally sees that light and he's euphoric, it's finally because he's dying. He's been in a prolonged sense of pain, really bad pain, can't do anything. He's living through all the bad things he's done, going crazy, going delirious, going mental. He's hearing the distant sound of the lighthouse, and that's what's causing the psychosis as well. When he's putting his mind's eyes, putting him in that position, because that's what he's hearing. His subconscious is doing that. So that's how I read it.
I think that's the soundest observation from watching the film. For me, that's what I would take from it. And also, when you think of a lighthouse, if sailors go towards a lighthouse, they'll die. They'll hit the rocks. The idea is to avoid. The lighthouse is letting you know there's land nearby. Now, I read this in Harker magazine online, and it is like, oh man, This is so cool. So in the 1890s, some keepers began floating their lenses in liquid mercury. The lens metal base spun more easily in the mercury, which helped the light rotate faster with less frequent winding. The resulting quicker flash was safer for seafarers, but not for the keepers, who breathed and touched the mercury on their daily cleaning rounds.
Shit.
Modern scholars have wondered if mercury, not isolation, was behind reports of lighthouse keepers behaving erratically or losing sanity, since chronic mercury poisoning causes confusion, depression and hallucinations.
So man's gone mad.
Well, Pattinson's cleaning all the time, and
yeah.
Defoe's working the lamp, and they're there longer than they should be.
See,
because the tender doesn't come and pick them up. And I just thought, that's a fact, but not for this film potentially. But you think, like, you never know. Eggers could have read that and thought, well, that's my fallback if anyone ever ties me down and tortures me for an answer.
But that is brilliant, because it's the simplest thing that's the truest thing. So if it is just a case of what he's cleaning and stuff's made him gone mad, like I've come up with a really big theory that he's dead and the light is death, symbolic, all of this stuff. Loads of other people have different theories. A lot of people saying it's mythological. It's a telling of a mythological story, beliefs, all of these things.
It has mythological imagery in it, but I think I love your theory as a viewer of the film. Watch the film. I like that theory because Defoe floats that in the film.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great theory.
But then it's also clever if it was that theory from that hacker article, because then it's sort of saying, well, no, it's actually just a physical reaction to his everyday.
Paranoid, depression, hallucinations.
And Defoe's not getting it to that extent. He's got a bit of it because they're going fucking stir crazy in a phallus, for fuck's sake.
So if you eat tuna meat, you get depressed and have hallucinations. It's because of the mercury.
I think that's a stretch.
Might be, but
I mean,
if you consume copious amounts of tuna meat.
I'd have to say you'd have to have at least 27 tins of tuna to start feeling the effects.
In one sitting?
Yeah.
That is protein heavy.
That is a lot of fish, and you're going to have fish guff for days if you're consuming the amount of that. I like that. Thank you for sharing that. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I've not actually done any reading up. I've read things by just coincidence. I haven't gone looking, but so it's good that you've researched and you've come up with another opinion. I like that.
Thanks, mate.
Shall I go on to my final like? It's another cuddling up to what you already said, basically, and it's atmosphere, ambience, and acting.
Hi.
Robert Eggers creates an unsettling and unnerving single-setting slice of absurdity that feels malleable. You can smell the sea air, feel the psychosis of going stir-crazy, and taste the sulphur of Defoe's trumps and tufts. Everything about The Lighthouse is mad, and I love how this nautical nightmare still doesn't give me the answers I want. The performances of Defoe and Pattinson are, in my opinion, both career best, and no matter how many times I take a stay in the Lighthouse of Lunacy, I have a great time.
Lunacy.
Now, basically, that final like was just wrapping up everything we've said, because, it's marked as read, but I wanted to get it in there because I used a few words that I liked when I put them together.
You're only ever getting better at this.
Oh, thanks, man.
Only ever, man.
God, we're gonna
you remind me of Santiago, an old man in the sea. Even though he's so old, he goes out there, he can still get the marlin, but now guess what? He can't stop that marlin from getting eaten by the sharks on the way back.
Jesus Christ. What didn't you like about the film?
It lost out on best cinematography to 1917. Now, I'm not saying 1917 was not exceptional to look at, but many films, especially war films, look like 1917. Nothing really looks like The Lighthouse. And the undertaking itself of going to an island, tapping out Canada for all of its hugest lights you can find to film this, in the rain, in horrible weather. I think this should have won Oscar for cinematography. And I think Defoe should have won for Best Supporting. Yeah. He wasn't even nominated, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go into this later on in the episode because I'll bring it up again. But for me, it's one of those films that just gets better and better the more times you watch it. And to hear that it didn't get any nominations or kind of got overlooked is mad. And I do wonder if now that there's huge buzz around Robert Eggers, now that he's a bit longer in the tooth, he's done 3 films now, he's got big studio films. His next film is Nosferatu, which does look pretty decent. I wonder if this film came later on in his career, if the Academy would have looked at it and gone, actually, yeah, no, this deserves a nod.
That's weird though that you'd need that. I mean, it wouldn't. You barely need to be a film fan to know you're watching something quite different.
Yeah. But I think when this came out, I don't think the Academy, their drive was on finding things that are different, that are fresh as much as it is now. It feels like they're trying really hard to be relatable and new and fresh to younger audiences. I think if this film came out last year or this year, I think maybe it would have got more attention, because it feels like there's a shift, a change of the wind in terms of what the Academy are looking for. I mean, fucking look at Everything Everywhere All at Once. That for that to sweep and this to be ignored, I mean, that speaks to how things have changed.
So is that a first on the Podcorn Kernels? We just finished filmography.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
The Northman, The Vitch.
Yeah.
And now this, Lighthouse. We've done it. First filmography. Not far behind. If we did Us by Jordan Peele, we would have done his filmography as well. Yeah,
we'll do that next season.
Fuck you. Second.
No, I need to know who's being told to fuck.
You, man.
Okay,
no,
cool.
Not really. Second is like, I don't know if it's intentional or something like character background for Winslow's dual past, but Pattinson's accent's not grounded in the film.
Yeah.
It's shaky and it fluctuates geographically. Yeah. Slightly Irish, American and English.
Yeah.
And you know what? A few times I was listening to it, it's really on par with DiCaprio's Gangs of New York accent.
Yeah. Well, I think my disdain has been diluted because of the film.
I still love his performance.
Yeah, I think if this was the first time we watched it and we was doing an episode, I'd 100% that would be my dislike. But I think I'm cutting him some slack. And I think there's something to be said about having bias in when you do review films and speak about films and critique them. Bias certainly comes into play. And if it's a film that you like, whether it's nostalgic, whether there's just something about it, the actor, the director, I think it's very natural to give it a pass. But I completely agree with you. That is something I wrote down in my original dislikes list, but I haven't included it. So I do completely agree.
One scene in particular, it's like 26-minute mark, and they're arguing over bedraggled smudges upon a jizz-stained floor. He hits 4 accents.
Yeah.
The bit where he says, like, I could just use a hand with those balls and all. It's like really like Brooklyn. It's like really like
Build a Butcher.
Yeah, like Build a Butcher. I heard Build a Butcher. I heard a bit of DiCaprio from Gangs of New York. I heard an Irish accent. Some words, I know some pronunciations or the way people approach hard R's or soft R's and from American to English, and then his English would pop through a little. It's just, it's not Charlie Hunnam. Not that bad.
Yeah, fuck me.
You know, but it's just not grounded. And when you're up against a first-class act like Willem Dafoe dropping some sort of nautical Shakespeare and his voice don't change once, I'm just watching it, I'm like, that is just experience and skill over time.
And it's interesting you say that, because I've always liked Dafoe. He's just got a very interesting face, and whatever his role is, the man puts 100% in. Now sometimes the man does chew the scenery, sometimes he's guilty of being a bit OTT. In this film though, I think he's got it spot on, bang on the buzzer. And he
didn't know his own name once. William Dafoe. Don't look at me, mate.
I thought there was more, so I was just waiting. I didn't want to cut you up.
That's his name. I don't know if he's got other names.
Well, I don't know either, but he was fantastic in this.
Don't look at me, mate.
Any more dislikes?
Smells.
Here we go. Yeah.
I can't begin to imagine the smell of Defoe's character.
It's only smells, baby.
With his burping, farting, coming seafood diet. Pattinson says to him, you smell like jism. You smell like unwashed foreskin and hot onions. And I was heaving.
That is a cocktail nobody wants to consume.
Jesus. That is torture cocktail. It is horrific.
No,
and
thank you.
And again, and the hilarious scene, they wake up hungover. Pattinson's looking for a latrine, somewhere to have a piss. He goes to the 2 bowls between the 2 beds, and what is in them bowls is shocking. It's a very short.
It's a hate crime.
I thought, pause it, have a look, inspect. I thought, I can't.
No, don't do that.
And one of them is full of absolute fair winning shits.
Carnage.
Absolute. And basically Pattinson throws on his rubbers and walks them to the ocean. And you know what's coming.
Yeah.
He throws it into the wind, it hits his face, and he screams, and it gets cut into the next scene. And again, I was on the floor laughing. It's funny, man.
It's an all-time great scream.
Smells. It's only smells.
It's only smells, baby.
Third dislike, smells.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of similar. I've gone sounds.
Oh.
But it's the sounds the smells make. So that constant foghorn, the hocking, the guffing, the fapping, the Defoe dog barking, so many sounds in the Lighthouse triggered my sound-sensitive self. It's a great addition to the whole experience, of course, but I'm not a fan of loud noises and human body bops, and this film is full of them. And you're right, it's so... In a film where ambience is front and centre, it just feels grotty. It feels danky.
Yeah.
It just looks gritty and dutty and horrible and eggy and fishy and salty and shitty.
Even when Pattinson's whacking it, it's such a wet noise.
Oh,
He didn't have baby lotion then. They didn't have Vaso, did they? Unless he's using the mercury on his cock.
I mean,
the mercury lubricant.
maybe that's what maybe it got in his eye, not just his mind's eye.
And that's why he go blind and he sees the seagull without an eye.
Yeah, because of his member getting mercuried.
Well,
while he was milking it.
Don't play tummy sticks on a little abandoned lighthouse island.
Don't say tummy sticks and little in the same sentence.
Him and Defoe almost did tummy stick in this, and then they had that exceptional post almost kissed fight, and it killed me.
I don't know. Part of me wanted that kiss, and then the ruck. Like, if they did kiss, they've overstepped the mark. Like, that boundary's been pushed. I'd love to have seen the punch-up that followed. It would have been epic. But I think Eggers knows what he's doing. He made the right choice for them to almost, and then they rucked because they're like, no.
I love that fight.
Yeah.
The fact that it just ends with a cutscene from hugging on the floor. So funny. I mean, they must have been laughing doing that film.
I think the dislikes in this, like, the more I watch it, it's those dislikes that seem quite trivial, but they're enough to stop it from me being a perfect film. They're dislikes in there. There's, like you say, that accent.
No, it adds to it, though.
No, but like the accent part. Like, if he nailed it, if he did have that sort of broad Brooklyn accent throughout, I think this would probably be a perfect score for me, because of it makes you feel dirty, but it wants to make you feel dirty.
What if films could only be a 1 or a 10? What would it be?
Well, if they could only be a 1 or a 10, it's closer to a 10 than a 1, so it would be a
Don't
10.
say closer.
As I said, it would be a 10. Nobody puts baby in the corner. They do.
They do. In Wetherspoons, everyone puts their babies in the corner.
Oh, when fish and chips are $4.99, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do, man? They don't serve champagne anymore since breaking from Europe. Yeah, who was going into Wetherspoons having champagne?
I mean...
That's not my joke. Some sort of stand-up. I can't remember his name.
I didn't know they did do champagne in Wetherspoons. Depressing.
Ugh.
Yeah. Are you done with your dislikes?
Shy, I'm done.
Shy. Stir crazy. I think The Lighthouse may well be the greatest depiction of going stir crazy in cinematic history. Now, I can relate to the feeling of feeling trapped, both physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, personally, all of the ways, basically. And that sense of being stuck is one that I struggle with, and it makes me itchy seeing it magnified on screen.
Fucking hell, are you okay?
Never. I don't think I've been okay since 2006. But moving on, for me, the film does a great job of showing that sense of stir craziness. That, we all got a sense of it when the pandemic. And, looking back, I'm fortunate enough to be able to work and go to work 5 days a week away from home. I know a lot of people had no choice but to work from home. And that sense of isolation and stir crazy, I imagine watching this in the thick of a pandemic. Like, we watched it just as it stopped, so it was like looking back on being stir crazy and being locked up in isolation, so it's at the right time. I imagine if watching this amidst it might have made people feel really uncomfortable.
Sent them over the edge.
Yeah, and for me it's great in doing that. It evokes these emotions of feeling trapped, and I think that's a testament to the ratio of the screen, the performances, the black and white, the just the madness of it all. I think it all works, but I still don't like feeling stir crazy. It's top 5 worst feelings for me is when I get itchy feet and I don't know what to do. I hate it, but don't like it.
All right, mate.
No. Third and final dislike is I still don't understand it. I've seen this film 4 times now, and I still can't say with any degree of certainty what it all means. Now, I actually do kind of love that, and I enjoy that it's all up for personal interpretation. Yet, after 4 times, I feel I should know maybe a little bit more than I do. Now, it's kind of a backhanded dislike, but I was thinking about whether to include it, and I thought I would, because I would quite to have a little bit more about. I think that now you throwing that other theory in the mix has made me think a bit more about it, and no doubt I'll be thinking about it long after. And it's one of those films that if someone talks to me about The Lighthouse, they pull on the thread, and then before I know it, I'm invested trying to figure it out again. It's like when I tried to solve the JFK assassination when I was 12.
Adam tried to counter the Warren Commission.
Yeah,
I think you could have done quite well. I think anyone with very basic knowledge of how ballistics work could maybe take a guess that he was probably shot from the front.
By the government.
Back and to the left. By the whole government holding the biggest gun on earth.
They were all of the government was standing round one gun, going, do it, fucking do it. And that's what happened. Cracked the case. Cracked the case. I've got some questions. Which actor would you like to be locked in a lighthouse with?
For sanity and potentially, rather than focusing on losing my mind or smelling Defoe's farts, I'd probably like to be in a situation where I could win someone's heart.
This is the angle I have gone with that is not to be mistaken as creepy, nor ill-intended.
Sounds creepy.
Who's your answer?
Eva Green or Sydney Sweeney?
That's my answer.
Sydney Sweeney, then.
Me.
Wait, are we both there and she's there?
Then it becomes a problem.
This summer, who's going to win the heart of the fair maiden?
Yeah, that's my answer.
Sydney Sweeney,
yeah.
I reckon my charm would come through.
I just think the only chance I have a chance with someone like Sydney Sweeney is if we're stuck in somewhere and can't get anywhere else. Now, I think it's a numbers game. The longer I stay with her, she might be like, oh, he's actually quite quirky. He's actually quite sweet. He's actually quite funny.
You're going to play hard to get?
No.
Good.
I don't have it.
I like hard to get.
Oh, God.
The sisters.
Oh.
I think it would be a wonderful romance. Especially if you had enough time to just slowly sort of whittle her down into thinking we need to populate this rock. We populate it.
Yeah. What we need here, Sydney Sweeney, is more mouths to feed. We need a baby.
We need milk. We need milk with our lobster.
But yeah, that was the question that came to mind, and that's the answer that came to my head. So there we go.
There's nothing wrong with saying that.
No, it's my
just
truth.
Desert Island Disc.
It's my truth.
Oh shit! I suppose we could have said our partners.
No, because they're not actors. I said which actor.
Mine's an actor.
Oh,
it's the way she makes me feel. Nothing's genuine. Nothing comes out. Look, and it feels real.
We'll go for a beer afterwards, mate.
Cheers.
You have to make the Lighthouse duo turn into a trio by placing another actor in there. Who would you put in there and why?
I think you could do like a see no evil, hear no evil. So I'd throw in Troy Kotsur from Coda. Imagine
that
between Pattinson's
an answer.
His young breakdown, his youthful breakdown, and William Dafoe's I love the ocean, I don't mind being alone drinking whiskey and smelling like gut. And then you've got Troy Kotsur, this hard-working deaf guy who's only can see what they're doing, but he can't like hear it. He can't really make it out. It'd be excellent, and it would be kind of like a see no evil, hear no evil. What's the other one? Speak no evil.
Yeah.
So I'd say Pattinson's the quieter aspect of this film, so he'd be speak no evil
until he's not.
And then Defoe is see no evil because he keeps trying to hide the fact that there's something very wrong. And then we got hear no evil for old Kotsur.
Yeah, I guess. And Defoe's not as far gone in the psyche as Pattinson. He's not gone as mad yet, but although we're led to believe
in looks as well.
Oh,
he'd play that part exceptional.
Yeah,
the beard. I could see him in an 1890s Lighthouse.
I think
being good old wiki.
That might be my favourite answer to any question I've asked in this series. That's a great answer.
You can see it, can't you?
I can see it, and I kind of want to see it.
I would like to see it.
I kind of want to see it.
And he played a fisherman in Coda. I mean,
yeah,
he's already done the method acting.
He's done it, and I think that would be really interesting to throw another member in the phallus.
Yes.
And I went for Colin Farrell.
Tommy Sticks.
I went for Colin Farrell because
Banshees.
Imagine, yeah. But the guy oozes charisma, and them eyebrows in a black and white film. And as sort of the charisma between the two, the bridge, I think they would be the sort of bridge between their conflict and their chaos. I think he might sort of help settle it. But then if he goes mad, you're fucked.
And you cut off your digits to spite the fiddle.
Tune. Go and check out our episode on Banshees of Inisherin if you haven't, because it's a fucking belter of a
Your
song.
answer is just as beautiful, actually. I can really see it because of Banshees.
Yeah.
The way he's dressed, that's 1905 or something.
Close.
It's not far off,
Yeah.
It really ain't.
I consider this film to get better each time you watch it. In your opinion, what film gets better and better each time you revisit?
It's got to be this one.
It's a good answer.
On my third watch, because, like I was saying, it's full of symbolism and misdirections, and Eggers is king of misdirections, I think, from all the films I've watched.
I think I asked...
You never think it's going to go somewhere, and it does. Like I didn't think old Tarzan was going to die in The Northman. I thought he was going to get away, because him and the girl did get away.
Yeah.
But then he goes back to die.
And then he just ends up fighting in hell.
Yeah, in Mordor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. And that's why I asked the question, because I do think it's one of the best for doing that. But my answer is anything Tarantino.
Yeah.
I revisit those films I'd probably say on a yearly basis, I probably watch all of these films now. And each time I watch them, there's not one that I'm like, this is stale. I haven't put on Reservoir Dogs, which we did an episode in this season. Yeah, here's another self-plug. Go and fucking check it out. But for me, he's a director, and they are films that I can watch time and time again. And for some reason, I always pick up something new. So even the tiniest of things. It might be a facial response. It might be something in the background. It might be a tune that I haven't recognised, because the man's the best at picking soundtracks.
I could watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood countless times and enjoy it. It's so layered, with Brad Pitt, DiCaprio. It's just it's tour de force.
Oh yeah,
I love watching it. I love it.
Yeah,
it's mood setting.
Tummy sticks.
What
would you rate The Lighthouse out of 10, please?
9.
Yeah,
I just dipped to the 1 because of the accent.
Yeah.
I actually think I love Pattinson in it. I think physically and his face looks exceptional for the role. He's got very, very charismatic face for the job.
He's got a face.
I think other people could have played his role. I don't think anyone could have played Defoe's.
No.
William Dafoe.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have done it like Defoe did. So I agree. I've gone 9 as well. And if you're interested, I think the first time I watched this, I probably would have given it a 6.5 or 7.
Wow.
I think the second time I watched it, I think I'd probably given it an 8.5.
Yeah.
Watched it this time and I was like, it's a 9. Like, I had a great time. My partner was out. I watched it on the evening on my own. Had some salt lamps on. Yeah. Sat there, watched it. I was like, this is great.
Sea salt.
Great,
We've matured. It's half a decade since we recorded the first one for this. So
like a fine cheese.
Oh, back to the cheese.
Yeah. That gives The Lighthouse a total score of 18 out of 20. If you like your films to be crazy, claustrophobic and crustacean-scented, or if you've ever wanted to look at two lads lose it in a lighthouse of layered lunacy that leans into lives lived in a large lob-on whilst two loonies lose love for lobster, then The Lighthouse could be a film for you. The Lighthouse is available to buy or rent from Amazon Prime and VOD. Consider watching this one if you enjoyed The Witch, The Northman and The Triangle. Should we play a game?
It's bad luck to leave a toast unfinished, lad.
Give it a name, give it a name, give it a name now. We birth a plot and then make a trailer. What the plot?
Action!
This What the Plot is the first What the Plot sequel in the Podcorn Kernels podcast history.
Oh, I am intrigued.
Cast your mind back to season 1, episode 40, No One Will Save You.
Yes.
Are your juices flowing, Dad?
I already know.
Okay. So the Podcorn Kernels in the original film were trying to dig themselves out of dead-end, unfulfilling jobs.
Still are.
They wanted to create something to be proud of. And
Still do.
And they did end up making it as the most downloaded podcast of all time. Now say still.
Still.
No, they didn't. But the fame and movie deals that followed led to Harry ending up in a rehab for addiction and Adam retiring and opening a yoga retreat in Portugal.
Ugh.
This sequel is about them reuniting, bringing the band back a la Oasis. So we made it. The original film ends with us getting that deal, getting signed to a huge deal with Spotify or something, making loads of money, becoming bigger than Joe Rogan, right? Then there's this thing that we don't see as the audience, our huge fall from grace. I end up in a rehab. You go to a yoga retreat because you just abused yourself beyond belief. And this film is us getting back together, and everything, all the exposition is done in hindsight. And now it's like we're going to come back together to do what we did it for in the first place, because we loved each other's company and we had fun.
So it's a sequel of Retribution.
It is. And there'd be like old posters on the like highways where we once had a poster of us like cheesing hard, and it's got like a rip through it and it's old and it's bedraggled, and like you're driving to the airport and you see it and it's like the golden days all gone. Be careful what you wish for, etc. film.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a sequel with substance.
It's the first ever sequel, and it's a sequel to our own film.
And I guess, if memory serves correctly, the last one was us reaching the peak, getting there, making it. We've done it.
It was the origin
successful,
story.
Yeah. So this one would start off at us, rock bottom, I'm assuming. You in rehab, me, the most unflexible man you'll ever see physically and mentally.
It'll start with your voice saying,
yoga.
going like... Right, keep going with your warm-ups and then into Downward Dog, and then the camera will come out and it'll be Adam John, almost hippified in this yoga retreat. Phone goes, I'm in a rehab. Hey man, I gotta talk to you.
We need to get the band together, and for some reason we're American now.
Exceptional.
I love
sequel.
It. Yeah. I love it. Big fan of that. Because it's the sequel, I'd have the same directors directing this one. Us, the
Yeah.
Podcorn Kernels. In terms of cast, funnily enough, I'd have the same cast as the original.
But I'm playing you.
Us, but we're playing each other.
Yeah, because that was in the original.
What a weird twist that this time we're not.
Yeah, we'll just do that.
We're just now, I'm me and you're you.
Yeah, because we love plot holes here.
Yeah. And we're just like, you just take it because this is what it is now. And you'll like it and you'll take it because we're huge now.
We're just taking a piss.
Yeah. Now, in terms of title, I could just go the Podcorn Kernels 2. But I like the sequels. The naming a sequel's a fun thing, isn't it? It's always something to the something.
Yeah.
So I've got a selection here: Kernels Reloaded,
Love
Kernels Recooked,
Love and Thunder,
or the Podcorn Kernels The Poppening,
the Poppining's quite cool,
or PCK: The Poppening.
Yeah.
PCK
was the first one PCK?
No, the first one was Kernels Reloaded.
Kernels Reloaded. Was that the first one?
Oh no, the first one was just the Podcorn Kernels.
Reloaded's kind of cool.
Kernels Reloaded, Kernels Recooked, or PCK The Poppening.
Kernels Recorded. Kernels Total Recall. No, don't. Sorry. I don't know why I did that.
Which one do you think out of the three that I've given?
Reloaded.
Yeah?
It's classic.
So, in the film by us, starring us, as us, I'd call the sequel Kernels Reloaded. Schneider! Should we play a game?
Si, senor.
On today's episode, we will be talking about what's popping, people. Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels podcast.
If you like your podcast to be fun, factual, and fully focused on the thoughts of film fanatics, or if you've ever wanted to hear songs based on the synopsis of all sorts of cinema, then the Podcorn Kernels podcast could be the podcast for you.
Farewell, film freaks. You have been listening to the Podcorn Kernels podcast. We thank you for joining us on our adventure into the fluffy and delicious world of cinema.